Hey everybody, this is Bethany from Cranberry Essential Tarot. Today is Monday the 27th, and this is the day that Mercury goes direct. We've talked a little bit about that in the past, but I wanted to touch on some things. Right now there are 7 planets that are in this retrograde season, so to speak. And out of those, 4 of those will go direct again by the end of October. Or by the 18th of October, they will go direct. The one that, like I said, we're going into Mercury today. Mercury tends to have the biggest effect on us. People tend to notice it the most because it's the closest, that planet is the closest to us and it has the most emotional influence on us. Mercury tends to be about all those things that you thought you dealt with, but you didn't. So if there is something that you have been putting off dealing or not wanting to deal with, the universe may slap it back in front of your face and say, now's the time to do it. It's a good time for clearing things up. A lot of people, I think Mercury retrograde tends to get a bad rap, but because of other things, you know, electronics tend to run a little funky. Miscommunications are rampant. You know, emails go lost, and people seem to get angry for no reason, and you're just trying to, you know, figure out all the chaos and all of that. But really, it teaches you a lesson, because what it means is to slow down and take patience with what you do and to double check things you do. A lot of times they will tell you not to sign contracts during this time period or to take on a new job. I disagree with that. I think that as long as you know, are aware of your choices, if you're not just jumping into them and not paying attention, that you actually will be okay. And Mercury retrograde, you know, it goes from now through the 18th, so it's not that big of a period. However, we get it several times a year. So right now, in addition to that, we have Jupiter, which is the other one that's closest to us. And Jupiter is, I don't have my glasses on, so internal growth and calm. So if you've been feeling anxious about this, if there's something that's bothering you, having a hard time sleeping, yeah. Because they tend to run fairly close together as far as Jupiter and Mercury, a lot of those things sort of overlap each other. It is a time for introspection. It is a time for, like I said with Mercury, you know, making sure that you have fully communicated everything that you need to communicate. So just be aware of that. The next one is Saturn, and Saturn is analyzing and rethinking beliefs. So, you know, this may be a time period when you're presented with new ideas, that you are asked to broaden your horizon somewhat, and make sure you are taking a deep breath, step back, look at it. Obviously, the country as a whole has been having a problem with this issue for quite some time. So just make sure that you're not quick to judge. Make sure that you are stepping back and being able to look at the big picture of things. And the last one is Pluto, which is going to go direct on the 6th. And this is transformation and release. And so you're going to feel like things are starting to feel a little bit more going your way, so to speak. You know, it's a release of old ideas, old stagnancy, getting maybe a little step forward. And as I said, so Pluto is the 6th, Saturn is the 10th, and Jupiter and Mercury go direct on the 18th. By the end, keep in mind there's a shadow period of about 3 days on each one. And we have a new moon coming up too. I don't have it written down, but there's a new moon in about a week and a half. And that one will also have some influence there. These are just guidelines. These are things to keep in mind if you're having one of those days where, you know, you go to send an email and it goes to everybody in the company, or you spout off something randomly off the top of your head and realize that probably something you shouldn't have said. These are all things that, you know, this time period you need to be just mindful. Take a step back, take a breath, make sure that you're portraying your thoughts and images true to yourself. If you're a judgmental person, that is true to yourself. But it's a chance to transform that as well. So I wanted to get into that a little bit, talk about Mercury Retrograde, because of course, you know, we're always talking about this. You know, this is, my daughter had texted my husband and said her light came on in her dash in her car. So, you know, we tried to fix that and it's not what he thought it was, and back and forth. So yeah, it's that time of period. It's little things that seem to add up and become really annoying, but you can get by those if you just try. All right, so somebody asked me to look at a tsunami in San Francisco, and I believe this probably has to do with Canary Islands. I'm not really sure, because I honestly, my geography, I used to work for a map company, believe it or not, but my geography has become really poor in these years since then. I can tell you Maine, but that's about it. So I want to take a look at that and see if this is something that is possible. I know that this issue in the Canary Islands is very, very scary. There's one guy who does, I think his name is Ryan Hall, and he does a weather forecast. And I watch him a lot of times because, one, he's really good at it. He just has a really engaging personality. So a lot of times I'll watch him when it pops up. He talks about a lot of long range forecasting, that type of thing. And he was talking about the situation in the Canary Islands. And he was saying that this, you know, even if big chunks of the islands, unfortunately, the whole island, if you're not aware, there's a volcano that is erupting on the Canary Islands. And it's sort of overtaking this island. It's taking it back. And if, goodness, if the, if a large portion of the island were to break off, there is some concern that there would be a tsunami from that. And you can look it up and you can see what we're talking about. If, you know, I don't think that's the real, I thought the Canary Islands were off of the East Coast, but not really sure on that one. Let's see. Let me do a quick search, because honestly, we're going to check this out here. Apparently, I'm not the first person to show up to search for this, because it has come up. So, they are off of Spain. Yes. So this wouldn't be a West Coast situation. This would be an East Coast situation. So I'm not sure where the tsunami in San Francisco question is coming from, unless they're talking earthquakes. San Francisco is quite far up. All right. So far what I have gotten, Sun, Six of Pentacles, let's see, in the bottom of the deck we have the World. So are we going to be looking at a possible tsunami in San Francisco or along the California coast? Is there a tsunami? I know that San Francisco is usually affected, or the Northern California part is affected by earthquakes all along the fault, but also from the Alaskan, the Aleutians. So tsunami, San Francisco. Is there going to be one shortly within the next season? Tsunami, San Francisco. Don't have a lot to say about that one at the moment. Tsunami, San Francisco. Oh. The devil. Ten of Wands, an emotional burden, or a burden needs to be worked on, and the Knight of Cups. I don't see tsunami. What I see is worry, preparedness, let's see, tsunami in San Francisco. It's going to be one. See, I'm getting it's more likely that if there were going to be a tsunami of any kind, it would be on the East Coast and not on the West Coast. And I'm not showing that it's going to be anytime soon. I do see other weather issues with California, and I'm seeing the normal stuff, the drought, but there's, are there going to be any any related issues for California? No, I do see that, there is some rumbling from Alaska, and the Aleutians specifically, Southern Alaska Aleutians, out into the chain. But I'm not seeing a tsunami for California. I do see not a tsunami for the East Coast, but there seems to be some sort of it's going to have an effect, but it's not, see, this may be a hurricane. The weather patterns are stinky. Yeah. Yep. Whatever it is not a tsunami on the East Coast. It is a change. It is a weather pattern. There is something that is a weather pattern that they are having to deal with, and that's not where hurricanes come from, right? They come off of Africa. So I'm not sure what this is. It may be it does seem to be coming from the East Coast, though. All right, I'm sorry, there's not a lot there. I'll check on it again and see if I come up with anything, but for right now, I'm not getting anything for West Coast other than the usual droughts and fires. And it's like this is a cyclical thing. Like it lets off on one, but you get something else instead. So I'm not seeing it. Tsunami, and I'm not seeing an earthquake. Not for... I keep getting Alaska. And I don't think it's soon. I think it's coming up. All right. So we talked about that. Did you see that they upped? Somebody had told me this in the comments, that the bounty for Brian has been upped to something like $50,000. Somebody donated $30,000 to it. And there's some question about whether he's on the Appalachian Trail. Let's see. I'm actually going to use a different deck here. I have a deck called the Native Spirit deck. It's an oracle deck. I don't use it obviously enough because it's still very sticky. But it's a beautiful deck. So, Native Spirit is Denise Lynn, if you're interested in it. Okay, so let's see. Is Brian on the Appalachian Trail? Well, this is interesting because Spirit Keeper of the East. And I'm going to have to look at the book because, like I said, I don't use this a lot. So, Spirit Keeper of the East. New beginnings, a fresh cycle is occurring. Wipe the slate clean. Release the old. They want you to know the East is the place of the rising sun. It's associated with planting seeds in the springtime. Birth, new beginnings. When you pull this card, it means the close of one cycle and the beginning of another. So it sounds like he's moved from wherever he was. He's moved on. So he may very well be on the trail. You know, they keep talking about it, and I'm realizing he's got outdoor experience. I mean, do I think he went to Mexico? I don't really feel that. And I don't feel like he's in the Northeast already. But let me tell you, if he's hiking the Appalachian Trail and he's coming to Maine, he's going to end up here in the winter, and he doesn't want to be here in the winter. Even if he is a survivalist. Is Brian hiking the Appalachian Trail? Is he out on the Appalachian Trail? Tribal Spirit Dancer. Let go, say yes to life. Explore, go beyond your predictable behavior. Don't always need to meet the expectations of others. You're here to explore, expand, and step into your extraordinary self. I don't know what that's got to do with Brian, but I don't think he's doing too much celebrating, to tell you the truth. If he is, he's even sicker than we thought. It's Brian on the Appalachian Trail. I think he's still east. The card says east. We'll take it at face value. Prayer for others. This is interesting because if you look at that background, that to me looks like the Appalachian Trail. Looks like mountains. Looks like he's hiding out in mountains. Maybe near a reservation. All right, so not a lot there on that one. Like I said, I don't work with this deck a lot. I'll try this one, see what this says. This is my Norse and Viking Ruin. Is Brian on the Appalachian Trail? Is Brian on the Appalachian Trail? Is he in the east on the Appalachian Trail? Is he in the mountains? Is Brian the east in the mountains? Speak to me, please. So this came out in reverse, and this is the symbol for the yew tree. It's a Scorpio sign, which we've already established Brian is. If it's in the right side position, it means actually it only has one. It only has one. You read it right side up either way. Endings, defense, life cycles, guardian, strength, trust, and responsibility. Endings, defense, life cycles, guardian, strength. This to me signifies Brian. Okay. Where is he? Where is Brian? Where is Brian? That's interesting. This one is very similar. This is a symbol for Thor, and it means defense, protection, attack, chaos, resistance, and will. So he's on the defense. Try one more. Yeah, I should try this with his readings more often. There's not very many cards in this. I mean, it's a very small deck. Where's Brian? Where is Brian? Oh, I got several. Okay. All right. This one here, it says 2 lines. Advent to each other. It is for the year, fall, harvest. Okay, that fits. Accomplishments, time, rewards, karma, growth, profit, people, and prosperity as a Sagittarius energy. It's also a female spirit energy. So it's, you know, this is fitting, fall. It sounds to me like we're on the right path. And this one, even though it has a mark in the middle, there's no symbol for it. It means fate, casualty, beyond decipher, and big issue. So there are still things here at play that are not working out the way they should. Or we have no control over them because fate is still in control. Free will, people, remember that. And then the last one is this one, and I don't tell any of the names because honestly I know I'll butcher them. This is the sign for the sun, and it's another one that represents Thor, and it's an Aquarius energy. It means life, energy, success, power, expansion, security, well-being, self-confidence, and uncontrollable force. To me, this feels like somebody who's looking for him. There's a specific player in this search, someone we don't necessarily know who it is, but it's someone who is part of the search. If, you know, sort of feels like maybe it's an ABC agency person, and they are instrumental. They will be the ones, you know, it's funny because what comes to mind is that show that used to be on, which was, I think it was Bones, and it was the forensics and the FBI gentleman, David Boreanaz, or whatever his name was. And this sort of feels like this is an expert of something, and they are going to be instrumental in getting him. Do I feel like he's dead? No. Do I feel like he's still alive? Yes. Am I maybe wrong? Who knows? I can only read the energy that I get, and that was interesting that I just came up with that last one, because that was new to me. But it does feel like there is someone involved who has a very good chance of getting him. It's like bringing in a heavy hitter, you know, somebody who's instrumental in this, who can do this. So let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to do today? I did that. Did the Mercury Retrograde. We talked about that. We talked about San Francisco. I went through and answered as many comments as I could. I think I got them all. Again, thank you so much for all the comments, and I love it. And I love seeing people from other countries jumping in there. I was all excited, so that was fantastic. The response has been fantastic, and I really, really, really want you to know that I do appreciate it, that I do read the comments, and it's been wonderful. You know, I mean, it's a sucky situation, let's face it, but it seems to be bringing like-minded people together. So, all right, that's it for today. I want to wish you all the best. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy. Sending blessings from Maine. Bye-bye.